Assalamu alaikum. 18 habits that kill procrastination, backed by Quran and Sunnah, as well as scientific studies and my own personal experience. Now, just a quick little side note. I am making this list in terms of killing procrastination, not being like super productive machine that's a high performer 24/7 on the go. There's a difference between beating procrastination and being productive. So keep that in mind. What I'm going to do is go through the Islamic habits first and then the scientific habits to kill procrastination. First up, we have designing your day around salah. This, I'm going to put it as lowers procrastination. It's great because obviously the top priority for us young Muslim men and Muslims in general is to pray salah. But does that solve procrastination? The mindset of designing your day around the 5 prayers is a great idea, but it doesn't solve the procrastination problem. Because for procrastinators, the most common problem is deciding to study, but then you look at the time and there's like, okay, shoot, there's only 20 minutes left for salah. Can't get that much done in 20 minutes. I'll just start working or start studying after I pray, okay? After you pray, you don't do the thing you said you would. So it's actually only useful if you're intentional about doing the thing you said you would before or after a specific salah and making it a habit. But it doesn't actually fully solve the procrastination problem at all. The next Islamic habit is avoiding major sins. This kills procrastination. Avoiding major sins kills procrastination. Ibn al-Qayyim's book talks so much about lowering the gaze. The biggest benefits that you get from lowering your gaze specifically is increased ambition, increased motivation, no negative emotions like sadness, and you have a specific strength in your heart that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you to actually push through the resistance of the obstacles in your day. And most importantly, you also have courage. Like, that's a huge benefit from simply avoiding major sins. Allah gives you the courage. Now, there's levels of courage, You can literally have the courage to do the hard work, the courage to speak the truth, the courage to, face a specific problem that you were scared to face before. There's so many levels of it. Because when you do sin, when you do a major sin, you can just feel that like your day is ruined, bro. You carry that shame. You procrastinate even more after you do the major sin because you just kind of feel hopeless and sad and guilty, regretful. And you can genuinely feel like there's just no barakah in your day anymore. No more energy. You're drained mentally, emotionally, physically. So avoiding these major sins does the exact opposite of all the negatives that you feel when you do major sins. Each time you genuinely reject a sinful desire for the sake of Allah and you're firm on it, you're firm on your nafs, Allah gives you even more strength. He helps you with that positive momentum to keep rejecting those desires. He increases your willpower. It's crazy. And I myself started seeing the benefits as soon as the very next day I decided to genuinely prioritize lowering the gaze, for example. The next habit is avoiding overeating. This kills procrastination. Bro, you don't even understand. Now, don't sit here and be a fatso like me, where I used to genuinely eat a whole pack of Oreos, Pringles, chips, Cheetos, Doritos, everything. I had zero control. But simply avoiding overeating, that by itself kills procrastination. The next Islamic habit is saying Bismillah before a task. This, I'm going to put it as lowers procrastination. So from a procrastinator's perspective, you have a hard time getting started on your task in the first place. Simply saying Bismillah is not going to make you magically quit social media, video games, and junk food, which is which is the only reason why I'm saying it simply lowers it. Because if you're already a productive person and you want more barakah in your work, this is a perfect habit that you can use. I would put that in the S tier level, the highest level. Next, saying a specific dua after Fajr, which is a hadith on this. And the specific dua is Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. I'm going to put this in, it destroys procrastination. When I use this dua, bro, it's like a secret superpower that just talk about barakah on a whole nother level. This specific dua is such a goated dua, bro. I'm not even kidding. When I said this dua for the first time, I remember like just 30 minutes after saying this dua, like Allah answered it, bro. It's genuinely crazy. This is huge for procrastinators. This can actually help you destroy procrastination, inshallah. Next Islamic habit, let's go. Istighfar. Now, there's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that whoever does more istighfar, Allah will literally cure his worry, anxiety, and sadness. Allah will make a way out for him from like every obstacle, bro. And he'll provide him in a way that he does not expect. Istighfar literally removes anxiety, which is such a common, strong negative emotions that procrastinators feel all of the time, especially young Muslim men. Istighfar is a reason that will like drastically increase the likelihood that you have your dua answered by Allah. Istighfar opens the door for wealth, which we just said it comes in many forms, but also opens the door to productivity. But saying istighfar any time of the day, I'm going to put this in, it depends. Because it depends on, you could be saying 1,000 times istighfar. That's like telling someone, yeah, I'm sorry, 1,000 times. But like, oh, you don't really mean it. You're just saying it to say it. And so it's basically useless if you're saying it without being fully present and you don't really mean it. But we can actually take this Islamic habit and level it up. We can make istighfar before Fajr. And the evidence for this is وَبِالْأَسْحَارِ هُمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. So we've just taken a crucial Islamic habit that destroys procrastination by simply saying istighfar at a specific time of the day, which is right before Fajr. It could be for 5 minutes, bro. You could just spam it. You'd feel the sincerity, like you can literally just spam it before Fajr. Literally in the ayah, it says those who seek forgiveness before Fajr, bro. When I tried this, oh my God, it's crazy. Like this, in addition to other Islamic habits, they just destroy procrastination. So you've already guessed it. I'm putting it as istighfar specifically before Fajr destroys procrastination. Next, reading Quran. Does that destroy procrastination? No, it does not. It lowers it, but it does not kill it at all. It has a small factor to do for sure. It doesn't directly increase productivity, but what it actually does is it increases barakah in your time, your energy, and your focus. And when you have a lot of barakah in those three things, your time, energy, focus, it all depends on your intention, on how you choose to channel your attention. It all depends on how you use and how you choose to use your energy, time, and focus. That's what determines how productive you can be. And let's be honest, you know that you just be making the wrong choices on the daily. So it doesn't destroy it, but it does play a factor in lowering how much you procrastinate. Next, waking up early. Ah, yes, of course. Waking up early. The habit that even successful non-Muslims use. There's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ya Allah, put barakah in the early morning of my ummah. Now this is such a goated, productivity advice. Literally, again, kuffar, bro. Kuffar use this Islamic principle that you're not even taking advantage of, which is mental, absolutely mental. Now, the thing is, this has the potential to kill procrastination, but it also doesn't mean that if you do wake up early, it doesn't guarantee that you beat procrastination and you're all good to go. It doesn't even mean that you'll be productive for the rest of the day, like after the morning. The morning, the whole purpose of it is it's meant to optimize your focus and barakah towards a meaningful project to work on, which a lot of young Muslim men, a lot of Muslims who procrastinate, they don't have that meaningful mission to work on. So this is why I'm going to put it in, it destroys procrastination. It has the potential to kill it. But the reality is a lot of young Muslim men struggle to wake up early. I'm sure that you do wake up for Fajr. You might struggle with it sometimes. Maybe you can relate to the fact that you do wake up for Fajr, but sometimes you sleep after Fajr and you miss out on working on something early, right? Like you can feel that when you do sleep after Fajr, you can feel that there's just no barakah in your day, in your energy. You kind of feel like it's kind of ruined. You wake up at 12. You feel like your day is over. But scientifically, like when you do wake up early, everything is at peak levels. Like your willpower, your energy, and your focus are all peak, bro. This is why it has the potential. But procrastinators, unfortunately, don't have that meaningful mission to work on in the morning. The reason why I chose to put it in it destroys procrastination is because if you still do wake up in the morning, like you probably do feel really good about yourself. You probably have, you probably build that momentum from the morning to having a decently productive day. So it's still really, really good. Next, we have making dua before Fajr. This one kills procrastination. It murders procrastination, bro. Making dua before Fajr is like going to a king's palace. You literally go to his palace at a specific time in the day, and he literally tells you, make any request, anything that you can imagine, and I'll give it to you. Allah is giving you that opportunity every day before Fajr. Allah is the best of examples. The thing is, you might not be able to wake up every day before Fajr to make this like goated dua, bro. This goated opportunity. But you just need one sincere dua from your heart that can genuinely change everything for you. It's a guaranteed response from Allah, bro. So whatever specific problem that you're having, maybe to quit a sin, maybe you're genuinely having like a deep emotional pain that you know you're escaping from, or maybe you have no direction in life, you can just deeply, sincerely ask Allah to lead you in the right direction. It's a golden opportunity that can kill procrastination. Now we're going to move on to the science-based stuff. The popular stuff that you've probably tried of before. Let's get into it. First one, Pomodoro method. Now the thing about Pomodoro, bro, if you really think about it, what the Pomodoro method is saying is that every 25 minutes, you have to take a 5-minute break to kind of re-energize your focus so you can maximize the quality of your work. But what it's really saying is your focus is so trash that you can't work for more than 25 minutes. What's crazy is that in the study it shows, literally, students who use the Pomodoro technique, their motivations level decrease even faster because they're doing it wrong. This does not solve procrastination at all. It's actually a terrible productivity hack. It actually shows in the study that people who use the Pomodoro technique showed a drastic increase in mental tiredness. Now, the best type of evidence, if you can agree with me for a second, the best type of evidence that nobody can argue with is your own personal experience. How do you feel when you've used the Pomodoro technique? I guarantee you it did not solve your procrastination problem. It's so inconsistent and unreliable when you do use the Pomodoro method, when you try to be productive. You can probably agree that the 5-minute break that you take in between is so short. You actually want to continue the break because it just happened so fast. You're like, bro, it was too short, man. What is this? And the biggest flaw is you have a hard time returning to your work when you do take a break anyway. And an even bigger flaw that I don't know why no one talks about this is that Pomodoro technique involves multitasking. And if you don't know, switching between tasks heavily reduces your focus. It's so bad for your productivity. It's so bad for your attention span. Because if you think about it, if you're working, taking a break, working, and then taking another break, that's you switching between 4 tasks in 1 hour. You know how bad that is for your productivity? Why has nobody talked about this? It's crazy. Because what do you mean you have to take a break every 25 minutes? Like how incompetent are you? And I genuinely don't mean to offend you, but this is what the Pomodoro method is saying. It's saying that your focus is fixed and that you can't increase how much you focus, but that's a lie. Pomodoro technique is a myth. It's garbage. Next, setting a timer destroys procrastination. Let me tell you how. It's the same as the Pomodoro technique, except this actually works. Now, you're not setting the time for 25 minutes. You're setting the time for the full 1 hour. That's extremely insane. This is obviously, you set a timer when you do start your work, but this is drastically superior to the Pomodoro technique. This is the correct way to actually do it. This is the goated productivity hack that actually works. It's a small shift, but a huge difference. And to quickly tell you why, is because you're not multitasking. You're focusing on one thing for the whole hour. Even if your focus is trash, you're leveling up because you can prove to yourself that you're able to work for more than 25 minutes like a bum. So you can genuinely level up your focus. And it all starts with just working on something for 1 hour at a time. And it actually gets you in the flow. When you multitask, you get out of the flow. But when you're working on something, the longer you actually work on it, the more you get in the flow. All right? Next, making a to-do list. Yeah? Trash. Absolute garbage. It's a myth. Telling yourself that you should do something, quote unquote, should is the key word. Telling yourself that you should do this, should do that, is exactly why you feel overwhelmed. Now, in the studies, it literally says to-do lists work, but not any to-do list. And the specific to-do list that you need to make is something called a priority to-do list, which is also found in 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Super credible, super popular. This is exactly what works. And what I actually do is I use a sticky note to write my priorities on that to-do list because it's small. So I kind of have to I can't fit everything on there. So I have to choose wisely what to put on there. And that's actually the next thing, which is sticky notes. This kills procrastination. This is what I use. Again, this is what I use to write my priority to-do list. And I've personally found that if I use the sticky note to remind myself of something I should do, I could care less. I'd look at it and I could care less to even follow through on it. And I'm sure procrastinators could relate to this. It doesn't matter where you put the sticky note, even if it's in front of you and you've seen it, it's to remind yourself. It doesn't work. Use it to write your priority list. With that intention, that kills procrastination, inshallah. Next, cold showers. Cold showers destroys procrastination. Let me tell you why. First off, you have to be a bloody psycho if you're going to take a shower before you work. All right, mate? Huberman, all right? I have no idea why you made that accent. Just go with it. Just keep it going, yeah? Huberman has a bunch of notes on this that it actually drastically increases your energy and your alertness. And it's genuinely so insane. It's so overpowered. I'm not going to lie. In my procrastination days, maybe you can relate to this. I did not have the willpower to push through a cold shower. I do know, like my client that I'm working with, he does a cold shower like it's nothing. And he still struggles with procrastination. So when he does do a cold shower, he finds himself having a very productive day. And the reason why I say it doesn't kill procrastination is because it doesn't solve the root problems. It doesn't solve, like, obviously, the whole entire package. It's not going to fix all your procrastination problems just by taking a cold shower. But it has a drastic impact on, giving you that momentum, gives you that edge to want to do more work. It's just how it works. And there's actually evidence that shows that cold showers specifically spikes just as much dopamine as cocaine. This is the good dopamine. This is the type of dopamine that actually lasts long and is healthy for you. So what's interesting, though, is that there's actually no studies that I found that shows anything about how cold showers increase discipline, how they increase willpower and self-control. But it does insanely increase your energy, and it turns on peak mental focus, which is so cracked. It's actually crack. Cold showers is literally crack. Destroys procrastination. Next, the law of least effort. This is from Thinking Fast and Slow, which is this psychologist professor who's spent 20 plus years researching everything about human behavior. And the law of least effort says, and this is how my own definition of it, it says that you have to make an offer to yourself that is so irresistible you'd feel dumb saying no to it. So this is where let's say you have braces, you've already got them, and you have retainers that you need to wear at night, but you keep forgetting. So what you do is, you use the law of least effort. What you do is you get the retainers and you simply put it under your pillow. So when the time comes for you to go to bed, and you kind of unintentionally, you forgot, by the way, you even put it there, but you slide your hand under the pillow, you're about to sleep, and then you feel the retainers, and you're like, oh, it's right here. You're already in bed, the retainers are in your hand, and you have no choice but to put the retainers on. It makes it ridiculously easy for you that you'd feel dumb not doing it. So we have to apply this to procrastination. We have to apply this to getting work done. That's so sick. It requires some creativity, but it's so sick. It's so OP, and it works. Law of least effort destroys procrastination. The next thing, an app blocker to reduce social media time or phone usage in general. This does not work. It's a myth. It's genuinely a myth. Evidence literally shows there's such a weak level of evidence that shows app blockers reduce phone usage. Bro, I used to download apps, so many apps, to try to even lock the YouTube, Instagram. I actually never used to have Instagram or Twitter. I just had YouTube. I try so many apps that would lock YouTube specifically. You just bypass the password. You can just uninstall it. It doesn't work, bro. Your mind wants it, it's going to get it. So this does not work for procrastinators. It's terrible. Garbage. Other guys I've talked to as well relate to this exact problem. Doesn't work for them. Next habit, the 2-minute rule. Now there's two versions of this. The first version of the 2-minute rule says that if something takes 2 minutes to do, do it. Do it to empty your mind. Close the open loop. Remember how we said when you say should, you should do this, you should do that. That opens the loop in your mind that now you have to go complete it because you just set an expectation for yourself to go and finish this task. And if it takes 2 minutes, do it. Simply for the reason to empty your mind. But this does not destroy procrastination. This does not even make you productive. What it does is it just empties your mind. So you free up space to be able to channel more of your mental energy towards what you actually need to do, towards the important work, the hard thing, the boring thing that you need to get done. So I'm going to put this in, it depends. Because you could be doing something important. You could be studying, you could be working on your business, doing a high leverage task, doing deep work session. And then you think, you remember that you should be doing this simple thing that takes 2 minutes. In that case is exactly when you just want to ignore this rule. So that's why I say it depends. Now, the second version of the 2-minute rule says that motivation comes from movement. James Clear, which wrote a book about atomic habits, explaining this exact thing. And there's a very beautiful mindset that high performers who are successful, once you just start working out, once you're consistent, you show up regardless of how you feel. This rule is especially true when you have low iman. Showing up for the sake of Allah, regardless of how you feel, especially if your iman is low, is like the ultimate sign of commitment. It's such a beautiful thing. This version of the 2-minute rule kills procrastination. The next habit, rest. Most people confuse relaxing with rest. Most people think that rest is just sitting on the couch, watching TV, not doing anything, just relaxing after a long day of work. But rest is something that actually high performers, people who don't procrastinate at all, they use this as something productive. Procrastinators think that relaxing or taking a break, social media and video games is a way to relax and to rest. But it's actually wrong. And it's not. It actually ruins your productivity and increases your procrastination. Now, a form of rest that high performers do is 20 minutes of exercise, walking, or napping, which is also a sunnah, or a joyful habit that they're just passionate about. It's kind of fulfilling to do. 20 minutes of any of those is a form of rest that actually lowers procrastination. There's studies to show this. The biggest benefits I've realized is it avoids burnout. And it's like a motivational reset button. Genuinely, it removes mental fatigue within just 20 minutes, which is crazy. I've noticed that the highest performers, the high performers who are super successful, Muslim or not, they actually see rest as something very productive. Now, I'm going to put rest as it depends, because it does not solve the procrastination problem at all. It will definitely help you to avoid burnout, and it's kind of like a motivational reset button to get you back on track, to get yourself to work on what you actually want to with high quality. But it doesn't actually solve the procrastination problem. So I'm going to put it depends. Man, I feel like I hyped it up so much, and then I'm just putting it in it depends. But if you're definitely already productive, this is definitely a S tier, highest level for sure. Next, moving to a different environment. This destroys procrastination. I couldn't find any specific studies that showed this actually makes you more productive, but from my own personal experience, and remember, we said actually the best type of evidence is genuinely your own personal experience, how you felt, what you went through. I don't have a room. I can literally work anywhere, but distractions have to skillfully be minimized. I literally was able to work when I was in college. This was my heavy procrastination days. I was literally able to work with a PS5 in front of me and my phone right next to me, no problem. It didn't affect me because I skillfully reduced the distractions. Literally as simple as that. Maybe you can relate to the fact that when you're in your room, you actually procrastinate more in your room. So what I do sometimes is, what helped me to get that momentum of just being able to work and not procrastinate is after class when I was in university, I just stay for an hour longer. And just because the environment was already, like, I was already in school, I was already there. I just had to pull out my sheet, pull out whatever, and just start working. Made it super easy. This hack, moving to a different environment, destroys procrastination. Now, the next habit, which is putting your phone on DND. This one's common sense. The point is to get no notifications whatsoever to avoid getting distracted. The whole point is to make sure you don't get robbed of your precious attention that we need if we want to be productive. This hack is to be used when you start working on something. There's a bunch of studies to show that daily interruptions, like getting notifications from your phone, have such a huge impact, a negative impact on your ability to concentrate. And it has such a negative impact on your productivity in general, man. So getting distracted by a notification is like someone talking to you in salah. It just ruins your focus. You can't be focusing on salah while also trying to have someone talk to you while you're trying to focus. It doesn't work that way, bro. It's so bad. And it's the same with your work. You can't work and also get interrupted. It's just so bad. It doesn't work. And what's really bad is that studies show that when you simply check your notifications, okay, it's almost impossible to not start going on social media. There's a study to show this. And remember, the law of least effort, basically making something so irresistible you'd feel dumb saying no. You're using it in the wrong way. You're checking your notifications. You're already on your phone. And so you're like, yeah, the offer is to just go on social media because it's basically irresistible. And there's studies that even show when you check your notifications, then you're going to go on social media, and then that's what also reduces your ability to control yourself. It increases impulsivity, which is so bad for procrastinators. That actually feeds the procrastination habit. So simply putting your phone on DND kills procrastination. And bro, let go of the need to think like, oh, what if there's an emergency during my work session? Like the same way you think that you need the perfect conditions to start something and that's why you procrastinate. You don't realize that you just created like a polar opposite scenario, a worst case scenario that, oh, what if there's somebody that needs me while I'm working on my deep work session? Like you cope with that excuse because your emotions tell you that you don't want to put your phone on DND. So what you do is you justify that emotion with logic by saying, oh, what if something happens? Bro, it's been years since I've been doing this habit. And not even once have I ever encountered a situation where there was an emergency during my deep work session. Like just let go of that fear. It's like insurance, bro. They sell you on the fear that something might happen, except you're selling yourself on this lie. So put your phone on DND, bro. Nothing's gonna happen, inshallah. Okay? Next, working out absolutely destroys procrastination. Now, before you start judging this, because some of you still procrastinate like after going to the gym or whatever, it doesn't fully solve the problem, but it does destroy procrastination because in the long term, it actually does build discipline. You become the type of person where if you are consistent in working out, this is where a lot of you struggle with, yeah? If you are consistent with working out, you will feel like a more disciplined person. You do become that kind of guy who stays consistent with everything else. Like working out can be that foundation. Working out for me was the first habit I was able to stick to. And that literally taught me so much about consistency, discipline, progress. And I was able to respect myself a lot more, build a lot of self-belief. And not those are just like the really important stuff. But some nice stuff too is that it's actually great for mental health, which not only gives you like a lot of energy and focus and willpower, but even Islamically, great mental health means having a strong logical mind. And a logical mind is needed to beat your nafs, to beat shaitan, to like drastically reduce the temptations and influence he has on you. Great mental health leads to a strong logical mind, and we need that logical mind to control our emotions. So we can even tie this habit of working out, to work out for the sake of Allah, to increase our logical mind so we can beat our nafs. And if we can actually stay consistent, bro, that's what I would put it at a kill. It kills procrastination. But because a lot of you struggle with being consistent in the gym and you still do procrastinate, it does still have a lot of great benefits. That's why I'm putting it as it destroys procrastination. Now, there's so much more I wanted to say, but I wanted to keep it simple and short. Well, it wasn't short, but there was a lot of juicy information that hopefully I was able to change your perspective and a lot of productivity advice, expose some myths, and hopefully you found the video beneficial, inshallah. Let me know how you liked it, and feel free to check out my free school community. So many ideas planned, so much more to come, inshallah. And Assalamu alaikum.